Hello, Brad here, just to say we're super proud that the Friday 5pm podcast is sponsored by the Malt Miller, the UK's best home brew store.
We use the Malt Miller for all of our homebrew experiments, as well as tapping them up for advice and binging on their awesome YouTube channel all the time.
That's why whenever we release a homebrew video, we put a recipe kit live on the Malt Miller, so you can brew with the exact same amazing ingredients that we did. The same ingredients used by pro brewers.
So alongside the Malt Miller's nitro-flushed hops, cold-stored yeast and milled-to-order malts, you can pick up recipe kits for our 5 Points Best Bitter, Russian River West Coast IPA, and now the fastest beer in the world, a hazy session IPA that goes from grain to glass in less than 48 hours.
Sign up to their newsletter at tinyurl.com/Malt Miller to get 5% off your first order. With the Malt Miller's amazing customer service and Johnny's 48-hour recipe, you could order the ingredients on a Monday and be drinking the beer by the weekend.
Speaking of which, it's Friday.
It's 5pm.
So enjoy this week's Friday 5pm podcast. It's Friday, it's 5pm, we're back in 2 dimensions? How many dimensions is podcasting? 1? Stereo, is that 2?
Well, we could be back in stereo sound, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, or
Dolby surround.
maybe mono, Dolby surround sound,
or whatever that sound is.
mono oral if you're deaf in one ear, or you've got a broken car speaker. My car speaker's broken, Johnny.
Oh no.
In my Lupo, so I need to take all of the paneling off my doors of my Lupo. Because the speakers have stopped working in the doors, so now I just
Is that because you're blaring out the Irish folk too loud?
No, I'm not. I'm not a Japanese listening bar in Dublin, unfortunately. But I tell you what, for the Lupo, got quite a good little sound system in it. But yeah, I don't know what's happened. The door straps in my Lupo broke a little while ago, so I took one of them out. That's the thing that stops your door swinging wildly open if it catches in the wind. So I actually took one of the door straps off, and then I was going to replace it, and then I just didn't get around to it. So I think my door might have got overextended and it's pulled out the electrics or something. Anyway,
Stretched a while.
I've got a tool, Johnny.
Yeah.
I've got a tool.
Okay, good.
So I'm
Everyone will be relieved.
Taking apart all of the body, all of the panel, and getting in there with the audio. Maybe I'll put in some fat subs in the boot or something while I'm at it. I don't really like bass in music. I'm not a bass head. I like more of a balanced sound. What about yourself?
Yeah, balance. I mean,
Balance.
it depends on the genre, but
Yeah. In general, I don't.
right. Okay. I mean, I can't really hear a lot of. Well, actually, no. It's the opposite. I hear a lot of bass. I really struggle in loud environments, especially when there's bassy music, to hear what anybody's saying. Maybe this is why people still complain about the sound on the Craft Beer channel. But maybe somebody else should be doing the audio monitoring. But my hearing is not brilliant.
Being in bands, isn't it?
Being in bands,
I guess.
One ear in particular in the practice room took a quite literal pounding from the sound waves and isn't quite as good as the right ear. Anyway, already off topic. What have you been up to beer wise this week, Bradders?
I early on in the week / the weekend, last weekend, I just went through my fridge. I had some friends over. I went through my fridge, an impromptu culling of the beer, not culling of the beers, but drinking of the sort of beers that have been haunting my fridge for a little while. And I realised that my TV, my girlfriend told me to put Spotify on. I realised that my television has like a Spotify app that basically has like a karaoke. The words come up, take over the whole screen. So we had that going. It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Spotify karaoke. But do you still have the voice of the original music?
It's basically, mate. It's, on your phone you can just, there's like that thing where it says show lyrics.
Right. Yeah. It's subtitles essentially. Yeah.
It's kind of cool. It takes over the whole screen, and it's just fun. So we've got really drunk, drinking lots of strong, strange beers from the fridge. Some in particular, I remember I had some Brick Brewery barrel aged sours that were in funny little bottles that were like absolutely delicious. They'd been in there for a little while, maturing like a fine wine, and they were just really decadent and sour, Johnny. Very sour, mate. We got a Domino's to kind of try and soak up some of the sourness. But it was good.
That's not my immediate. When I have a really sour beer, I'm not like, quick, call Domino's.
Yeah, I get heartburn if I have too much sour
Domino's
stuff,
not going to help.
Yeah, no, it really didn't help, Johnny. No. But I didn't have any food in the house.
Like
and
pouring petrol on a fire.
Yeah, the Domino's really didn't help. We got one with lots of sort of meaty things on it. Just made me feel.
So Catford needs to get good pizza. Why is it always Domino's in these stories?
Well, there's the I mean, I can't get any delivered. I'm on the borders of being able to get yard sale pizza delivered. If you're listening, yard sale, fuck you.
Oh, I thought you were going to be like, open a shop in Catford, not.
Well, they're not going to open a shop in Catford. They're just down. They're in like Crofton Park and like a couple of other places very nearby. And the rings of where they deliver to are just outside of me in several different locations.
Could you not sort of just stand on the end of a street and collect?
Not in that condition I was in. No.
Okay, right. Sorry, are we talking heartburn or drunkenness condition?
Just drunken,
right?
Yeah, I was. I'm sort of having a rejig around, and I've got I've got a giant Carhartt beanbag from the Carhartt store, in where is it? It's in Covent Garden still, in the Seven Dials bit, and it's from about, I don't know, 15 years ago. It's a giant camouflage beanbag, which I bought. It was one of the store fittings. I don't know why they got rid of it, but I bought it online years ago. Very, very affordable. And it's been in my garage for years. I've recently brought it back into the house, and I was sat on that, singing along to Modern Love, David Bowie, and all sorts of nonsense.
Well, you heard it here first. Beanbags are back in.
Beanbags.
Next step, inflatable chairs.
I've got. It's funny you say that. Somewhere else in storage, I've got an inflatable 1960s inflatable armchair, like a legit old Italian inflatable.
My brother, when I was a teen,
classic.
he had that as his desk chair.
Mental
for a bit.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's totally insane. What's he playing at?
Don't know. he didn't do that well at school in the end, so maybe it was that.
He's a sound guy, right? So maybe it's
a broadcast guy.
For some reason, the air was able to go through the chair and didn't muddy the sound stage. That's what I'm going for, Johnny.
Yeah. I don't want to give him the exit. I just want him to be the guy that tried to do his homework from an inflatable chair for about 2 years of his life.
That's got to be really, really sort of squeaky and sweaty in the summer.
You'd have
to put a cushion down for sure. Mate, I'm not sure about that.
I mean, let's be honest. I don't know how long he had it. In my head, it was a long time. It could have been a matter of weeks. And, the first sign of a warm day, he was like, oh, this just won't do.
No. I watched an Instagram earlier of influencers in the wild, and it was two people that they were on the beach, Johnny, and they bought it looked like a bed mattress. I'm guessing it was an inflatable, and they'd put a bed cover over the top of it, and then someone else was pushing them out into the ocean, and they were getting smashed by waves. Obviously trying to get some sort of floating bed on the waves.
You've got to wonder who they're looking to influence there.
I was like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
It's totally mental. Yeah. I had a dream last night, Johnny.
Go on.
That, I don't know why I was on some sort of road trip, but we'd hired a man to take us in his sort of van, and then he wanted he wouldn't tell us how much money it was going to cost, but it was going to cost more than we had. So he got really upset, took his van away, and then said, I've got something more in your price range. And he rode back in like a sort of clown car that was it was too small for people. like adults, and he rode back in that. And then it was a very odd dream. It was very surreal. And then he got out. When he got out of it, he kind of looked like me. He was kind of like a hippier version of me.
Whoa.
But he had sunglasses on, and he took his pair of sunglasses off, and there was another pair of sunglasses below them. And then he did that about 4 times. He took about 4 pairs of sunglasses off. And then my girlfriend woke me up
Probably for
this
the
morning
best.
because it was time to get up. But I was like, that was a mental dream. I think I have crazy dreams. I just never remember them. But yeah.
How
Should we
how
talk
was that
about
related to what
some
we
beer?
were talking?
I'm not sure, Johnny.
Right, okay.
Just it was kind of like a weird lucid dream. I think she woke me up, and then I was able to like control the dream somehow. So I don't know. It's very weird. I'm not sure how it was related to what we were just talking
Right. Okay.
to.
Good. I mean, so long as
talking about-
so long
yeah,
as you
sorry.
haven't missed like a key thing, like I was drinking a beer at the time, or
Oh, I think we were definitely drinking beers because he was driving us around. So maybe
right.
that's
Okay.
it. Maybe
Okay.
that was it.
All right. We'll
It's really
we'll
odd.
call that the link. My week has actually involved.
Go on.
Well, sorry, your week did involve beer.
Yeah, some beers.
I too had friends over at the weekend. And I don't want to make this awkward, Bradley. It was my birthday.
I know it was your birthday.
Oh,
I've had. Well, we won't go into my week, Johnny. But I've had a bad week. But I did know it was your birthday, and it totally escaped me. I'm sorry to.
heartbreak.
I was planning something and then I forgot. Sorry.
Don't worry about it. Anyway, I had some friends over, and we'd been drinking all day, and I was that guy at a party who was like, no, let's keep going. And I found a very old Bourbon County Stout in my stash. And I was like,
Nice.
let's do this. And everyone was like, hell no, that's 16.5%, and we've got trains to catch, which was fair. So we compromised on a can of Monument, which is a barrel-aged Imperial Stout from North Brew. I think it was
Nice.
11%, much more
Oof.
responsible. And it was absolutely freaking stellar. It was so
Nice.
so good. I turned into that other guy at the party that won't shut up about how good his beer is. It was coconutty as hell. It was chocolatey as hell. It was just lovely, and just a straight Imperial Stout. You know, you can get these flavors without having to throw a ton of stuff in there.
Was this bottled, Johnny, or was this in a can?
It was in a can.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
As far as I know, North don't mess around with bottles. Speaking of which, I was at North this week, so actually I can confirm they have a canning line. They have a boxing line. Craft beer's growing up. They have a 4-pack boxing line for their supermarket beers, but no bottling line. But a very impressive site nonetheless. Springwell is, I mean, their old site was your classic tiny industrial estate, knocking through walls as they slowly grew to try and get more space. Whereas now Springwell is, well, they've already almost maxed it out. Their choking points, their warehouse is too small, but it's big. Could make about 20,000 hec there, and I think are pushing that. And I had a fresh Sputnik off the line that was tasting very, very excellent.
Beautiful. I still need to get up there. So you just squeezed that in yesterday, did you?
Yeah. So I was in Leeds on book research, and I arrived, went to North Brew Co. tap room and had some bow. If you remember, we did that last time we went up.
Yeah.
And then I walked to Springwell, which is possible but not advisable. Not that far, like a 35-40 minute walk, but not a walking friendly walk. A lot of walking on paths, but next to dual carriageways. Not the idyllic, because it was so sunny yesterday. I was like, I'm just going to walk it. You know, it's 25 minutes by public transport. It's 35 minutes if I walk. I can see why people might just get the bus. And yeah, so I squeezed that in, and then I also went to Brownhill & Co., which is an amazing kind of European-inspired bar, like table service, waters brought with your beer, and I had a Taras Bulba, first Taras Bulba in a long, long time there that was tasting very different to how I remember. A lot thicker and less bitter, kind of, and hazy. I think it was probably not the best batch of Taras that's ever been made, to be polite, but it was still tasty. And then I had a pint with an ex-MP, which was the reason I was going up. Greg Mulholland, who was a Lib Dem MP from 2005 to 2017. And if you know anything about British politics, that's quite an interesting time to be a Lib Dem MP, in that you went from third biggest party to coalition, like almost in government. And then I think they had 8 after the 2015 election. 8 MPs just died as a result of the shit show that was the coalition.
Total wipeout.
Yeah, but I was talking to him for the book, so there's going to be a whole chapter on the bars of the Palace of Westminster, and how beer and I guess wine, of course, and spirits, to some extent, lubricates the wheels of democracy here in the UK. So there were lots and lots of stories from Greg, most of which were printable. One or two where I feel like I might get a text from him sort of being like, actually, in retrospect, maybe we keep a lid on that one.
You said, sorry, just to digress a little bit, you were at Springwell. When they launched, do you remember they launched with a pack of 99 Springwell pills?
I do vaguely remember that, yeah.
It was like over 2 meters long. It was like immensely long. They have any of those kicking about? I'd be very interested in seeing one of the packaging. So I'm just looking at a photograph of it right now, and it looks like it couldn't hold that amount of beer weight in the packet. So there must have been some incredible engineering going on.
How tall is 99 cans?
Well, I can tell you, it looks. It looks insane. I will send you the link to what I'm looking at, John.
I wanted a beautiful Bradley Evans description. I thought we'd get.
I think it's a man and a half high, at least.
A man and a half.
Yeah.
That's plenty of beer.
And we're talking like big northern lads here. We're not talking little.
Oh, right. So I think it's a 4-pack, isn't it? Sorry, it's not a 4-pack. It's 2 rows, not 1 row.
It's 2 by 49 and a half, isn't it? Basically.
Oh, yeah.
2 by. Yeah.
There must be a missing.
I don't get why it's 99, not 100.
Yeah.
I guess there's a song, isn't it? 99. But
cans of Springwell pills on the wall.
Yeah. And that you'd need quite a long wall for that, wouldn't you? For sure. But anyway, sorry to digress a little bit. You also done another beery event, haven't you, this week? Very beer focused. It's almost like you're in beer.
It's been a heavy week. Yeah. Wednesday I was judging Raise the Bar, which is the up and coming brewery competition to get a slot at London Craft Beer Festival, Bristol Craft Beer Festival, and Manchester Craft Beer Festival. So essentially, if you're a brewery that's younger than, I think it's 5 years now. It used to be 2, but because of the pandemic, they've elongated it for a bit, because obviously there were breweries in 2019 that never got a chance to enter because there were no festivals in 2020, and had a great time. We tasted. It was about 30 different beers from 30 different breweries.
Nice.
The variety and quality was huge, but actually it was the best. So I've judged this. This is my 4th time judging it. It was the highest quality we've had so far in the 4 that I've done. There was some really quality beer and a lot of debate around who would end up going, which I can't reveal yet, but there were sort of 6 or 7 in the mix for 4 slots. Which hasn't really happened before. It's often been the winners have been fairly clear, and maybe one brewery just about missed out. Whereas here it was, probably 3 have missed out. But
are any of them? Have you like taken notes? Do you think we need to go?
Oh yeah. There's 2 of them that are immediately on the list for ones to watch next year and potentially for some features. Because there were 2 very, very excellent beers.
Great.
That got me quite excited. So I think they're unveiling next week. So once that happens, I'll let our Patreons know on our Patreon forum which breweries I'm talking about, and they can go and try and track down those beers because they were great.
Are you saying you're going to give our Patreons an insider?
I'll give them the
scoop?
exclusive. Yeah.
Sweet.
So you should probably join our Patreon if you haven't at patreon.com/Craft Beer Channel. And I'll do it in our forum, our wonderful Discord forum full of wonderful people and us.
Great plug. Great plug.
Did it. I did it quick. Bradley.
Yeah, happy birthday, Johnny, for last Sunday. Happy birthday.
Thanks, man. Have you been...
I had a lot going on, which I'm not going to go into on air, but there's been some dramas. So, yes, happy birthday, mate.
I appreciate it. Thank you, man.
Yeah. You are... How old are you? Can we say on air?
21.
You're not old enough to be doing that yet, I'm afraid, sonny Jim.
What age do you get to start making... Just didn't.
Oh, I think my age.
Probably. Oh, okay. Oh, I haven't got far to go. When you turned
40, you haven't got too far to go. You got a few years. I got a few years on you, sort of thing. Or
I turned 36.
That's all right. So, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with 40, brothers.
30s now. Well, you say that. I feel like I'm falling apart. I've put my back out this week, which has made me incredibly uncomfortable. Yeah, I just don't. My lower back has given me jip.
You can't use phrases like that and be 40. I'm afraid. If I can't joke about being 21, you can't joke about backs giving you jip.
Come on. So we did a video. Do you know what? This week's video, Johnny, I thought personally was hilarious. And it was so much fun to film.
It's always important to find your own comedy hilarious.
Yes. I thought it was brilliant. I absolutely loved it. All kinds of hijinks to be had when you're drinking nearly 10% beers. Well, not quite 10%. But
well, 8.5. It's close.
Yeah.
It's close.
I mean, some of the comments were saying they didn't even think it was that strong.
Yeah, well,
bloody hell, what are they on about?
Was it on YouTube or was it elsewhere? Somebody said, I don't consider these beers.
Don't consider it strong.
And you're like, that's a reflection on you, I'm afraid, buddy.
Yeah.
These beers are occasional treats or sharing bottles, really. I mean, I say that as the person that got exceptionally drunk on 6 litres of it, but that was a one-time thing. I don't think I've got the stomach for it anymore. I was a young, naive, I don't know what I was. I was young and naive. That's about it. I don't think I could do that anymore. Nor should we really.
Well, I want to go to Stark Beer Fest.
Okay.
I'm just gonna be more sensible when we go.
Nah, but you're not. You all go in there saying that.
but you're not.
Everybody goes in there being like, I'm just gonna have like two of the Doppelbox, and then I'll switch to Hellas. There's no way.
How many pretzels do you have to eat per stein to balance out? Do you reckon?
3.
It's just like eating crackers, isn't it? They're pretty dry, hence why they're good with the beer to sort of. It all just works beautifully.
Not good. Good pretzels shouldn't be dry.
They're kind of but they are kind of dry though. Do you know? Like they have a drying quality to them because they've got the salt on.
Yeah, I think that's probably it's probably the
kind
salt.
of desiccating quality to them, Johnny. I mean, yeah, they're not like. They are kind of fluffy, a little bit chewy, fluffy kind of vibes. Not fluffy, chewy.
No, I think you're right. Fluffy, chewy is probably a good word for it. But I mean, you also need to have a full meal when you're there as well, or else you will be on the floor. But anyway, we've trodden over this. Somebody in the comments also said came for the quick videos of Johnny drunk at Stark Beer Fest, was not disappointed. So it's becoming a bit of a cliche that I trot these out, but it's all that video's good for because the rest of it is just nonsense and silliness, and I probably shouldn't have published it. So I'm glad it's getting an airing. So yeah, this week's video was all about Doppelbock, which is a strong dark lager style invented in the 17th century by the monks of St. Paula, who were goddamn vegans, which we had a lot of fun with. At one point, Bradley tried to claim he not that you were vegan, but that you...
No. I never claimed.
You sort of implied you were going that way, which got. No,
I said I tried to be. I tried to be more conscientious about the amount of meat I'm eating.
What was on your pizza at the weekend, Brad?
I was drunk. The rules don't count when you're drunk. But I could tell you, I've had vegan fare this week.
Vegan till he's drunk. That is.
Yeah.
That is a way to live. Yeah. So what were your favourite comments on this week's video?
There were loads. Jaden Green said, "Eat your heart out, Bert and Ernie. First we drink beer, then we go to bed." I don't know why I did that voice. That doesn't sound like Bert or Ernie. But those two, they slept in the same bed, didn't they? So there was a kind of a concept. Maybe they were lovers or just very good friends. I don't know. But anyway, I don't know which one of us is Bert, which one is Ernie. But I guess you said that because you said we're going to drink these and then go to bed.
Right.
At some point in the video. Because I read it and I was like, what? And then I remembered you saying that on the day. So I'm guessing that didn't hit the cutting room floor.
No, it probably should have in retrospect. Raises all kinds of questions.
Nah, it's all good. We had COD, CODD.
Right, okay.
Comment. Shout out brother Banana Boat, top lad, Prost.
I think there's merchandise
that
in that. If you could do
brother Banana Boat,
a brother Banana Boat t-shirt.
Yeah. Jonas K was at Stark Beer Fest a few years back, and it's dangerous business. You drink 3 beers, walk around thinking you've had 3 beers, but you've had alcohol equivalent to 3 bottles of wine. The beers are drinkable enough that you go for a 4th as well. So that's what you did basically.
Exactly.
It sounds like
it's literally
what everyone does.
Yep.
Just Joe Gillis said you guys are awesome. Can't wait for the next beer tasting. Then what? I know, nice, right? Nice. I never read the bad ones, Johnny.
Wait, there are bad comments.
Tommy, we do have bad comments, don't we? We had some bad ones from the podcast last week, which we won't go into. We're gonna
lessons were learned.
Yeah. We never drink. How many beers are on the table? 8% beers. And then try and talk about the world's biggest podcaster.
Were you seeing nearly double? There were 5.
Were there 5? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5. There were 5. Fair. Tommy Lundmark. Good stuff. Have you considered making a video on beer foam characteristics? I certainly have. And this, I guess it's in reference to me with my strange sort of observation of the underside of the bubbles that were in one of the tours.
Well, it was in all of the tours. That was just the only one you looked at from underneath.
No, there was something going on, Johnny. It was like a different little world under there. There was the tight foam at the top, and then there was almost like a sort of not a greasy layer, but like a different layer of these like huge insulated bulbous bubbles that were sort of free flowing under. They weren't effervescing or anything. It was interesting to look at. I enjoyed it very much. I'm gonna be looking from that angle a lot more.
Well, you start digging into the science of that, and that's what you can bring to the video where we dig into beer head. We do have a video about pouring beer and about some of the science of foam coming in a couple of weeks after our trip to Budvar. But we didn't look at the beer from underneath. No, we didn't, and I should have done in my masterclass that's coming. I should have looked underneath the bubbles, Johnny. So I think you called me Ideator after I made that comment, which was funny. I laughed out loud when I watched it back. Big Red Levy. Does Brad say balance now just to stir you up, Johnny? Yes. One of my comments I picked out was Gregory Jackson, who said, "Love Johnny awkwardly diverting his eyes when Bradley describes the beer as balanced." Just two things. Johnny. One is I used the term balanced. I think I cut it out, not because I didn't want that shown, but because it didn't fit with everything else going on. But 2, balanced is still a word we can use in beer.
Yeah. It just doesn't mean what everyone uses it for.
Yeah, well, I don't think it should mean what everyone uses it for. But I would also say that Doppelbocks are pretty well balanced. Well, I thought they were, but when we tasted them on the day, they really weren't. Like in my head, the stuff I'd had at Stark Beer Fest, there was real bitterness and some hop character to it. These ones, not so much. Maybe because they weren't so fresh. Maybe I was just drunk. Not quite sure. But yeah, very much a malt-forward beer. So not a balanced beer, but a pretty well-structured one. The best 2. And that's why we loved the 2 that had... Well, one had roasted bitterness, one had hop bitterness. Or, hard water or yeasty bite or something. We liked the structured ones, which feeds into my point.
100%. 2 more quick comments. My favourite comment, possibly... Mars Lights, wonderful Nater episode. Love that. I think it was. I think if any of you listening out there haven't watched it, go and give it a watch. I think it's really, really fun. And Garden Compost, good name, says, make me want to brew a Florinator. which is what we dub them all because they make you hit the floor.
Yeah.
Malty, toasty, roasty, and 8 or 9% ABV. Dang near a barley wine, but not. I wouldn't want to make it as thick and syrupy as a barley wine, though.
It's not a bad description of it. If you made a lagered barley wine, that's almost what a Doppelbock is, really. A lot of flavor.
Yeah.
Flavor notes are the same.
True that. Go on, John.
Yeah, I've got a comment from Miggy Man Mike. He said, I was actually reading about Salvator in Ron Pattinson, who's a great historical beer writer, Ron Pattinson's Homebrewed Guides to Vintage Beer. And the simple reason they all have the cheesy names is because Paulana trademarked the name Salvator, despite it being considered by many as a style at that point.
So the style was known as Salvator.
Yeah, and then Paulana, clearly wanting to own that, trademarked it, so everyone else was like, oh, okay, well, we'll just take the Artur bit and put something relevant to us on there.
Nice. So, not nice, it's very aggressive in the trademarking.
Yeah. Trademarking, I remember, like, craft breweries have gotten a lot of trouble for fighting for their trademarks, but it is important, to look after your IP. It's as important as, your recipes and your beer quality to some extent. So I wouldn't be too hard on the Paulana monks. But
what do you call your device for picking up dirt, Johnny, on your floor? Your electrical device.
Right. So I was like, what are you talking? Well, I call it a Dyson.
Oh, you do call it a Dyson. You call a Dyson a Dyson. So you don't call it a Hoover then?
No, never. I might call it the vacuum.
Oh, right, okay. I wonder if that's because I'm a little bit older. I would potentially still call it a Hoover.
Do you know, actually, interestingly, I do say like we need to Hoover, but I wouldn't say get the Hoover. Yeah. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, we need to Hoover.
It's a verb in our house.
Yeah.
It's not a noun.
Yeah. Because Hoover were like just massive back in the 50s. I feel like my granny's house had a Hoover in it, and it looked cool.
My gran
Some
had
of them
a
had
Hoover.
lights.
It was a
lights
brownie
on
beige
the front of them, mate. Whew. You ever seen those ones? They've got like a little car headlight on the front of them.
My Dyson has one, so you can see when you're going under the settee.
Your Dyson's got a car headlight on the front of it.
Yeah. No, wait, no. I'm thinking of the old one. We used to have a Vax, and that had a headlight on.
Oh, now you're talking.
You're a Vax man.
No, I've got a Dyson as well.
Cool, we all do. We love that Brexit voting, then leaving England bastard.
Oh yeah, he's a real dickhead, that guy. Yeah,
but he makes great Hoovers. No, wait.
And he's responsible for spreading lots of poo particles around, isn't he? With his intensely strong hand dryers in toilets. That's not a very
whatever websites it is you read. Just don't find new websites, Brad.
It's fecal matter on your hands and shit.
Yeah, but
everywhere.
I don't want to talk about this, and I don't want you reading about it.
Paper towels, Johnny. Paper towels are way more hygienic, and you can recycle them. And they don't. Well, actually, I don't know what the carbon footprint. Yeah, I don't know. Is it better the electric Dyson blade, whatever it's called, or is it paper towels?
We'll put it out to the commenters. Let us know.
Yeah, who knows?
If you know the carbon footprint of a Dyson Airblade versus good old fashioned recyclable paper.
A single paper towel, because you don't need to use bunches of. No, well, they're like usually double ply.
Okay, so a single double ply.
I'll tell you what I don't like, Johnny, is you don't see them so much, but you used to see them a lot in toilets. Are those like rotating towels? That it's like literally
they're gone,
towel.
Aren't they? Yeah.
And you pull it out of the thing, and then it's you think you're like, oh, maybe I'm getting a fresh bit, but you're just getting it. It's gone around and around.
I don't think it's gone round and round. I just think some people, because you have to touch the bit that's been wetted before you can get to the clean bit. Just
yeah, they're a weird idea, aren't they?
Not a great
How have we got
design.
onto this, Johnny? It was vacuum cleaners.
That is the question I ask, like literally internally, eternally in this podcast. I'm literally wondering, how did we get here and how do we get back?
Yeah,
and sometimes I find the answer to the first half.
I'm gonna have to try and make a GIF now of my face with taking a pair of sunglasses off and then another pair of sunglasses being under them.
Yep.
And make a loop out of it, because it's going to haunt my dreams now. It's something like...
Well, it'll be
David,
cathartic
David
for you
Lynch
to make
movie.
it. You'll be like, right, it's not in my head anymore. It's out in the ether.
Do you know, I just need AI, actually, don't I? I'll just go on Chat GP or whatever it's called, and Mid-Journey Artist. And
you could probably put Bradley Evans. It might come up with you. You might be the first Bradley Evans Chat GPT finds.
I had the really weird experience the other day. A friend sent me a GIF that said, "I'm a little bit scared" or something. It was a guy going, "I'm a little bit scared." But I genuinely thought it was me. It's my doppelganger. I don't know who this guy is. I was like, "Is that me? Where did you get that from?" And he was like, "I don't know. I just found it, but I sent it to you because it looks like you." I was like, "That is uncanny."
I want to see that.
It's like a younger, better looking version of me, which is
surely
really
not
frustrating. But
I believed you up until that point.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It looked very similar, Doppel-esque. Doppelbox.
I knew you were trying to get there slowly in your head. Right, yeah, that's all we've got time for this week. We do not have an upload next week, I am sad to say, but I'm excited to say that is because we have a live show instead.
I mean, it's not just any live show, Johnny.
No.
It's an M&S live show, if ever there was one. We're going to the bloody Colonel, mate. It's going to be great.
Yeah, indeed. We're going to be filming live on location with the amazing Chris, a fantastic brewer who brewed all 4 of the beers that we'll be tasting in the tasting box. We'll be taking a tour of the brewery as well and chatting about, the history of Colonel, its impact on the world, and then, of course, the beers and all the nonsense that comes with Brad and me being in a brewery. So it's going to be really good fun. It starts at 7:30 on Thursday night. And then I guess we'll still have a Friday 5 p.m. the day after. We can talk about the hangover. And then we will be back with, as promised, we've had so many people asking about this. The week after that, we do have the next in our series on Trappist breweries. And I'm very excited to tell you that the next one we're tackling is Orval. So that is coming in just under a fortnight. And then we might be getting very close to our Budvar content, which is shaping up very nicely. So it's all about to get very exciting on the Craft Beer channel. Not that it hasn't already been exciting. This week's video was great, but it's all kicking off.
Mate, can't wait. I've just sent you that. I know you're rounding up.
I've
sent you.
I was, but I
GIF,
never assumed that's going to be the end of the podcast.
The GIF, I'm a little bit scared. GIF.
Oh, sweet! So I can look at it. We can get my live reaction online. Yeah. Holy crap!
See, I was looking at the hand as well. I think the hand looks like my hand as well.
It's not got enough rings on it, but that is...
No. It's weird, isn't it?
That's a lot like
weird.
He looks like a mix between you and our entrant to Eurovision. Was it 2 years ago? The guy with the long hair. He looked.
Wasn't he blonde?
A bit like a Muppet.
Oh, cool. Yeah, thanks.
He might have been blonde. I'm not quite sure.
I think I know the guy you mean.
Yeah.
I thought he had long, straight hair, but yeah.
Yeah, he does, but facially, this is a combination.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I thought this guy kind of looks like he's out of a Lord of the Rings film or something, but I've just never seen him.
I know, he's too
He's
clean
also
cut
got
for
like
that.
he's got like a video light behind him, which I was like, is that actually me? And that's something someone's filmed. It's like a projector or something, but I don't think it is me.
No, it's not.
The hand looks like my hand.
It's definitely
though,
not you.
It's freaking me out, man.
I don't think your hair's ever been quite that long either.
It has, but not in recent years.
Right, okay.
Not when I've had grey hair, you see.
Right.
So,
right. Well, anyway. I mean, people at home can't see this, so we shouldn't dwell too long on it. But we'll put it in the Patreon forum as well, so that they have the joy of seeing Brad.
100%.
Brad Mark II. Anyway, it's been lovely hanging out, Bradley. I hope everyone at home enjoys it and has a wonderful weekend. And we'll see you on Thursday at 7:30 live on the channel at the amazing Colonel. Love and beer. The Bubble and Friday 5pm podcasts are brought to you by the nerds behind YouTube's Craft Beer channel. You can watch over 400 mini documentaries at youtube.com/The Craft Beer channel. And if you love what we do, support us via Patreon and get access to merchandise and our amazing Discord forum, a positive and welcoming space for everyone who loves beer, food, and homebrewing. Love and beer.